Hi, my name is Joseph Ireland, and this is my first YouTube video. So, the reason I created this YouTube channel is because I watch a lot of anti-trans debates on YouTube, and a lot of the people that these anti-trans people are debating, aren't very good at debating. And I'm not trying to say that I am some master debater. Um, Sorry, I'm being unprofessional. I have a dirty mind, I guess. Okay, but my goal isn't to be professional. My goal is to help people understand what me and other trans people go through. So I am a trans man. Um, and a lot of people would say that I am not a man, I am a woman. And I guess I just want to explain why I'm not. So I'm going to do that by sharing my personal story of how I realized I was trans, I guess. So growing up, I pretty much only ever had friends who were boys. I did have some friends who were girls, but I was never really as close with any of them as I was with my friends who were boys. At recess every day in elementary school, I would play basketball with the boys. In gym class, when we would split the gym between boys and girls, I would play with the boys. I always just sort of considered myself, I guess, one of the boys, if you must. But not in a girl way. I did genuinely consider myself one of them when I was a kid. I always liked girls growing up. And I never really considered myself a lesbian until there was one point in my life when I did consider it, but it never really felt right. I always liked girls in the way that boys liked girls. I had a crush on this girl in fourth grade. I was 9 years old, and one day we were texting and we were playing Truth or Dare, I guess. And then she said Truth or Dare. I said Truth. She said, "Who's your crush?" And I said, "It's you." And she was really confused, and she thought I didn't really know what a crush was, but I kept insisting that I know what it is, and you're my crush. And she got super freaked out by that. I mean, we were kids. She probably hadn't had much exposure to gay people or anything like that, so, it was weird to her. The next day at school, I tried to talk to her, and she was avoiding me. She wouldn't go anywhere near me. And then I asked her why she had been avoiding me, and she finally told me that it was because I had a crush on her and she didn't think we could be friends anymore. And that was really confusing to fourth grade me because, all my friends had crushes on girls, but when they told their crushes, they didn't react that way. So I came home from school that day, and my parents had got a phone call from her mom telling them that I had a crush on her. And my parents explained to me what being lesbian was, and I thought that was super weird because my friends who were boys weren't lesbian, and that's sort of when it clicked to me that I was a girl, I guess. And then in the next few years, you know, we all started going through puberty, and the same boys that I used to be equal to in playing sports that were my friends, they started getting taller. Their voices got deeper, and then it sort of felt like they all grew up and they left me behind because my voice was still high pitched, still is, because, I'm not on testosterone yet for personal reasons, I guess. They got taller, some of my friends are like 6'2". Um, I'm 5'8". Uh, I am insecure about my height, but I do know that that is an average height for males, so not too worried about that. But they got taller. I wasn't as tall as most of them. Their voices got deeper. You know, changes they were experiencing, I wasn't experiencing any of those changes. So I used to be pretty much the same as them. A few minor differences, but we we were equal back then. And then suddenly we weren't equal anymore. Um, I stopped being able to play sports with them. So I tried playing sports with girls. And it was a terrible experience for me. Um, I didn't really fit in with any of them, and it was a very different experience than what I was used to playing with boys. And, I sort of felt excluded from, you know, the team. And a big part of sports is feeling included with your team. So I quit sports because of that. Um, I did realize that I was trans like a year before having that whole sports experience with the girls. Suddenly not being equal to my friends who I used to be equal to, and suddenly they didn't want to be friends with me anymore, or maybe they still were my friends, but they didn't treat me the same as they used to, was, a pretty difficult experience because I used to be one of them, then suddenly I wasn't, and what was I supposed to do? Suddenly become one of the girls? I wasn't. I wasn't raised like that. I mean, I was raised as a girl by my parents, but, at school with friends, I didn't know how to talk to girls as a girl. And, what? I saw girls as potential partners, not exactly friends. I could be friends with a girl. Obviously guys and girls can be friends. I can be friends with a girl, but not close in the way that girls were friends with each other. So I sort of felt excluded, isolated, I guess, from having friends for a while. It was really difficult for me to make friends because of that. So, in short, that is my story of how I realized I was trans. It's a little more complicated than that, but I'm not going to make this video too long. I just sort of wanted to put that out there. I've always known somewhere deep down that I was a boy, and as a little boy, it was a very difficult experience for my friends to, what it felt like was they grew up and left me behind. My friends no longer saw me as equal. They didn't want to be friends with me anymore. Girls didn't want to date me, etc. I just want you to try and imagine, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, imagine, let's just to simplify it. Uh, if you are a guy, imagine you're a little boy. If you're a girl, imagine you're a little girl. Whatever. Okay. Imagine you are a little boy. Imagine yourself actually as the little boy that you were when you were a kid. Not me as a trans little boy, just yourself, okay? I really want you to imagine that little boy, okay? Imagine all the fun times you had with your friends when you were a little boy. Um, you know, just really imagine that little boy, okay? Now, imagine you turn 11, 12, and suddenly all your friends who are also little boys start getting taller, their voices get deeper, uh, etc. You don't, okay? You're a late bloomer. But actually, you're not a late bloomer. Suddenly, you start growing tits. You get your period. It you know you're a boy, so that it's a very confusing experience for you. Why are you going through these things? Your friends aren't going through these things. Obviously, your friends don't want to be friends with you anymore. You're a freak, right? You're not one of them. You're weak. You're not as strong as them. Obviously, what girl would want to date you? And if one of them would date you, she'd be a lesbian, most likely. What you want to date? You want to date those hot straight girls. Not saying lesbians can't be hot. They definitely can. But you want to date someone who likes you for you. And your internal sense of self is that you're a guy. So, obviously you'd want to date straight girls. What straight girl want to date you, right? You look like a girl. They see you as a girl. They genuinely think you are a girl. They can't see you as who you are inside. It must be from personal experience, it is a very difficult experience to go through. So imagine yourself going through this experience. The same little boy that you used to be suddenly becoming a woman, being told that he's a woman now and that he's no longer equal with his friends that he used to be equal with. How would you live your life if you were in that position? Would you just start living it as a girl even though you weren't raised that way? You don't know how to be a girl. What would you do? Okay? So that's the experience that I go through. So obviously I chose to live my life as who I am, which is a guy. And I am going to end the video off there. That was my first little introduction, okay? Now, what I want you guys to do is ask questions to me, okay? In the comments, you can ask questions to me and I will make another video answering these questions. And if they are questions that, debate the existence of trans people, I will debate against that and try to explain the truth, which is that being trans is a real and valid thing. So, I'm not even sure if I'm articulating my points properly, which is the whole reason that I um made this channel is because a lot of people I see having these debates don't articulate their points very well, but I think I am doing a better job than a lot of them. And I think that when the questions start coming in, I will be able to answer those questions better. This is just sort of an introduction video. It's not even really supposed to be any sort of debate. It's just introducing who I am, my experience. If you want to know anything more about that, obviously feel free to ask a question about that. But, the questions I'm sort of wanting are like questions you guys have about not understanding trans people or saying that trans people aren't real, anything like that. Ask me. I will debate against that in the next video. So see you in the next video.